And we are live. Welcome back, familia, to another quick, just spontaneous Q&A. Today we're talking about Christmas with the Chosen. It is officially December, so happy December.
Yeah, so now it's okay for us to talk about Christmas.
Now it's
with all the Christmas.
Now it's a good time to talk about,
all the Christmas non-likers out there.
I did something today that no Grinch should be allowed to do or should do. I put up Christmas lights today.
I have it on videotape, so there's proof. There's proof that it happened.
But we hope everybody's doing well. If you can please do me a favor and leave a comment in the live chat, because we're not sure if the comments are coming in. There we go. All right.
Hello.
Soraya Raj says hi. Hello. Hi. Halapala says, I hope I pronounced that right. Says, amen. Enjoy the holidays. Yes, we are. So far, so good. We had some delicious turkey dinner on Thursday. Then
we had 2 turkey dinners. Yeah,
we did.
I put us on the spot there.
That's how we roll. We did 2 dinners, and then on Friday we headed out to Fullerton to her parents' house.
Yeah.
Got 0 hours of sleep. Woke up at 8 in the morning. Not 8 in the morning. No, we woke up. Sorry, we woke up at. See, that's how tired I still am.
Yeah.
We woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and went to LAX. Got on a plane at 8 in the morning here. Still no breakfast, nothing. We snacked on the airplane, very little. We flew out all the way to DC. Right, we flew out all the way to DC, and we got there around.
We got there. Oh, we got there at 3:33.
We got there at 3:33. Right.
Yes.
To the Ronald Reagan Airport out there, and we got back to the hotel, or we got not back to the hotel. We got to the hotel, give or take around 6:30, and then we decided to go have dinner that evening, and we had our first meal at around 7:30.
7:30ish.
It was amazing.
But thankfully, it was really well worth the wait because the food was amazing.
It was.
The Italian place was amazing,
and the customer service was great. So
yeah.
and you know. I was a little hangry myself, so I couldn't wait to eat. But I was just loving that we were in someplace new, that I had gotten out of California and left the West Coast for the first time.
Yeah, and then right when we got to the restaurant, outside there was like a restaurant next door, and it was all decorative with like Christmas lights, like a Christmas tree on the outside, and like the whole time they were playing Christmas music, even inside the restaurant that we were eating. So. It was like forced, but thankfully it wasn't super, super loud. So,
but I was so happy just to be out that I really didn't care about it. Plus, it was already past Thanksgiving, so it was okay to have Christmas music after Thanksgiving. Yeah. How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Let us know in the live chat. Hey, Angela, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome. Punk Shiba said we had some ham and went ham on it. That's the only way to go, is to go ham. We want to say a special thanks to our good friend Linda. I don't know if she's on here.
Probably not. It's
probably not yet.
No, not at all. Probably it's like 1 a.m. for her.
Thank you. It's funny. She sent a note. She sent us a package, and she sent a note saying, "I don't know if this is gonna get to you before your birthday, but she sent us some items, and we'd like to thank her."
Yes.
So she sent an awesome note. She sent a journal. And she sent this book, which we are excited to get to because there's a monkey pulling on a ribbon. And that's what we're excited about. But this right here,
I'm excited for it all, but this right here, this chocolate is like
this is the highlight. This is the highlight of our birthday now.
This
is the one right here.
Yeah. That one.
Linda, let us know what we need to do to get more of this, because we don't have this, right? We don't.
She's gonna say we have to go to Germany probably the next time.
We don't have a PO box, Mary, but we'll look into getting some sooner. I'll send you a message on Instagram. This one is
that one's really
new.
Good.
I don't think we got this one last year.
I think they're like I think it's like when they, those little
like wafers.
The one in the bag that we had that was like the little ball shaped like.
Oh,
I think that's what it is. I think it's the same brand. I think I don't remember though.
Maybe this one's new too. She didn't send this one last year.
Ooh, winter Leckeri.
I don't know, something like that. Sabe. And then we got this one. This one looks good. It's new too.
And then chocolate for me though.
We liked this one last year too. So I know we got these 2 last year. These other 3 are new.
Yes.
And so we can't wait to dig in. We're gonna have dinner in a little bit. we're gonna have some ice cream and some of that chocolate. So excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had so much fun in DC. We did so much. We walked. How many miles?
We like the first day was like almost close to 16,000, I believe. It was like 15,000 something.
Not miles.
No, not miles. Sorry, steps.
Yeah, steps.
I didn't clarify that.
No,
Steps, not miles.
We walked 16,000 miles uphill, both ways. Let's see. I got a report here. So the first day we did 15,184 steps, and then the day after we did just as much. We did 15,098, and it was only we did less time though. We walked more, so we saw the White House the following day.
We were like walking pretty fast though too at one point because, but we totally look like tourists.
Yeah,
like there was people running like in shorts, and I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
How is that even possible right now? Like I'm freezing. We're just so spoiled with the weather.
Right, and some of you saw the photos that were posted on Instagram. This beautiful shot right here. I'm not saying it's beautiful just because I took it, but I also like this one. But he blocked the monument. But
it looks nice that he was there. It's just only if you're able to still see the monument.
I can't focus on it, but that was awesome. And then we got Mr. Abe Lincoln just chilling there in his chair, looking over all of DC. It was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking. We walked and saw everything fairly quickly because there's so much to look at.
I think we need like at least a week, at least like maybe 5 days, 2 weeks.
Let's just do 2 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot there to explore, but
there was a lot. It was beautiful. We'll work on getting a PO box. It's a long time coming. I just got to figure out what the cost is to get one. And then we'll get one and have you all send some goodies.
It was really fun though.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. My favorite was like the nature, like the trees, the color. They were just so beautiful. The architecture, the buildings. Like I love that stuff. So I was super, super like in awe of it all. Yeah,
I really loved specifically this beautiful yellow green color on a tree.
I have a picture. Let me see. Did I send it to you?
Beautiful.
It was the one that I took of you. You were taking a picture of I took a picture of you taking a picture.
Oh no, but here's my picture. It's like a yellow green.
Oh, you beat me.
More yellow, more green. It was awesome. but one of the things that I really, really loved is the architecture. I don't know if I ever mentioned, but when I was in high school, I had a drafting class, and I loved architecture. So I wanted to be an architect, but I carried my guitar everywhere with me, and I just spent more time on the guitar than I did on my drawings. But I'm gonna compile like a slideshow for you all with all the photos that we took, and then we'll share it on our next live. But it was beautiful. The architecture there was beautiful. The Smithsonian castle was beautiful. We didn't get a chance to go into that garden, but next time we're hoping that we will take another trip and just explore it.
Yeah,
explore it all.
I am definitely excited to do that. I want to go back. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah, me neither.
But
let's talk about Sunday evening.
Oh, Sunday evening was an evening for sure.
Yeah. We were invited to the Museum of the Bible to a special screening of The Chosen, the Messengers, and which is out in theaters today in the US only, in select theaters. But we got a chance to see it ahead of everyone, and the music. It started out with a Christmas song, and I was sort of cringing a little bit because you know how
I know. I'm eating my popcorn, and I literally did like a side eye. I'm all.
And I'm like, it's okay, it's all right, it's fine, right? But first let's talk about. So we get there, right, and there's a line to greet Dallas.
Yes.
Right. Well, the first person we see was Jesus, right, Jonathan?
I'm all Jesus.
He's in a blue suit and he's walking all cool and saying hi to everybody, right? But we didn't really get to. No spoilers.
No, we're not gonna do any spoilers.
No spoilers.
We're not talking about.
So we get there, and we were going to say hi to him, and we should have taken advantage of saying hi to him first. But he was talking to some people. We're like, okay, let's get situated in the in the
we
room.
were just being also very considerate and respectful. That we didn't want to just bombard him like right away and be like, Jesus, I mean Jonathan, you know, like we didn't want to just go right like that, you know.
Right to it, yeah. But then we saw a line to greet Dallas, and we're like, hey, let's get in line. We're getting in line.
Aww.
And she's like, do you think he'll recognize you? Do you think he'll remember you? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
So I was like, you guys had an interview.
Yeah, like we had an interview together. Maybe he'll remember, right? As soon as he was done taking a photo, I wish we would have recorded it, but as soon as he was done taking a photo with the person that was in front of us, he looks over at us and he goes, "Mi familia," and we're like, "Oh man!" So he
is so tall.
He is. I extended my hand to greet him, and he was like, he just kept his arms open, and then I just went in and gave him a giant hug, and I'm like, man, it's so great to see you.
Yeah. He's incredibly tall, but then again, I was like this, but then again, everyone's taller than me compared to me.
So here we are with Dallas. Some of you saw, or actually I haven't shared any of these. I'm going to share some of these with you all.
I haven't shared any either. I have a bunch.
Soon. We'll share some soon. And so yeah, he's all smiles, right? And he's excited because he's and super relaxed because he had just gotten back from Hawaii.
Yeah. Yes, he was great. And I was so happy. I was even recognized because he was like, "Are you the girl that passes him the tissues when he's crying?" I'm up. That's me.
So again, he brought up the Nicodemus sequence where I stood quiet for a few minutes, and he said it's still his favorite thing to watch. And then we had to go because the screening had started.
Yeah, so we grabbed our stuff.
Yeah, grabbed our stuff. They got popcorn and water, and we were gonna sit in the back.
We were, because we saw a lot of like reserved seating. So like, and then people were saving seats for people. So I was like, oh my gosh, where are we gonna sit?
Yeah.
And then I asked one of the people that were directing people where to go, because there were seats up in like the third row, like 1, 2, and 3. I think even in the fourth row, there was like no signs on the back. So I was like, I go, are we allowed to sit there? Or are those for reserved only? She goes, no, if it doesn't have a thing, you're able to sit there. So we're like, okay. So we went to the third row, and like 2, 3 rows behind us, the actresses were like right behind us.
Dallas and some of the actors were there, sitting behind us, and we got a chance to sit up front. And Dallas, gives he's talking to us about how grateful he is to the people who have donated to the app, and to the people who have just participated, because there were other YouTube creators there as well. And we got a chance to meet a couple. And one of the things that stood out was he said he had on his hand, he had a paper of the Wall Street Journal, and he said that he was excited. He goes, they didn't mention me by name, didn't even mention The Chosen exactly in the headlines. So what they mentioned was crowdfunding, like I forgot what the exact title was, but something about the crowdfunding, that it was just like the biggest thing that they'd ever seen, a series funded completely by the fans. And so he was absolutely grateful to the fans, to you all, for making it such a huge success.
He really was.
For making, putting the story of Jesus out there, and for believing in his ability to actually tell the story beautifully.
Yeah.
So he greeted us there. I mean, he greeted us all. He gave his speech, and then we started watching the episode, or the movie, the film. It started off with some beautiful music. You guys are gonna love the music. Okay.
Oh man, the music. We heard some artists that we didn't even know, and we are like, oh, we need to hear more.
Yeah, Kane was one of them. Were my favorite to harmonize. I love them. But one of the things is like, okay, it's one thing to watch it on your phone, and it's another thing to watch it like on your laptop or your computer. And it's really unfortunate that a lot of you won't have it in theaters, or can't see it in theaters. But if you do have the chance, even if you have to drive a little bit of a distance,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. And here's why. The sound system.
Ooh, the sound system.
You can hear, like, it rumbles, like, and it's so beautiful how you can hear like all the high notes, up here.
It gives a different feeling, a different emotion. It's like somewhere deep within, and it just, it's a beautiful experience. So if you can, we highly recommend to do it.
Yeah, definitely go check it out in theaters. And I have something, actually. If you all are in the Riverside area, or if you know anyone who lives in this area, like Riverside or San Bernardino County, maybe even Orange County, let them know, because The Chosen sent us some merch or gifts. and we are looking to maybe go to a theater and
just
give out some stuff. We have some wristbands, and we have season 1 and season 2 on DVD. So we're going to be handing them out. We have to get more coordinated though, better coordinated with that. But we are going to give some stuff away. So if you know anyone, let them know, and then we're gonna figure it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was beautiful. So shortly after, after we listened to the music part, we saw the new episode, and the new episode is great.
Yes,
it's great. You're gonna love the new
episode. That's literally all that we can say. But you got to watch it for yourself. It's really, really, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, it's heartwarming. And we all are really fortunate. I told Dallas right after, because when everything was over, he went and gave a little speech to thank everyone right before we went out and sort of mingled. And I stopped him because thankfully we were sitting right in front, and I stopped him and I said, I thanked him. I said, you know what? Thank you so much for taking your time, because that story was told slowly and he took his time. He didn't rush it. He could have done the whole series in 2 hours, or he could have made 2 actual full-length feature films and told the story as quickly as he possibly could. But he's taking his time, and it's not to build suspense or to get you to come back and watch more episodes, because he just wants to make sure that each character is built up carefully, that you step into the mind of Jesus when he's praying. This is not in the new film, by the way. I'm talking about season 2 and season 1. That when Jesus goes out and prays, or that when you see him have a moment with someone, that you step into his perspective and into his world, and you see it from his point of view, and also see it from the person that he's conversing with, or he's having that moment with, and you can only imagine what it's like to be in his presence and all that. Yeah. And I really appreciate that from a non-Christian perspective. I really appreciate that he takes his time, because then it takes away the cheesiness. So definitely get your friends, your family. If anybody who hasn't seen The Chosen, it's a standalone, so it's not going to ruin the rest of the story unless they don't know the characters. But definitely take your family and friends. It's family friendly. As I said in my trailer, all you see in theaters today is nothing but sax and violins, right? Of course I was joking, but all you see is just sex and violence, and just a wasted time. Is just pointless entertainment in some films. And this is our chance to go to a theater, bring your family, and watch something wholesome, something for the Christian world, right? So, but we loved it. We
did,
and we were excited afterwards. We got a chance to meet some of the characters. I wanted to meet the guy who plays Nathaniel was there, but we didn't get a chance to meet him. We didn't get a chance to meet Jesus either. But Erika and I got a photo with Mary, or the character that plays Mary, the young lady who plays Mary. And then also the one who Erika she's like besties now.
Well, I like to point out I was like besties with all of them in a sense, because I was like,
this is the one who plays young Mary. But yeah, she executed beautifully, because I had a moment. We're sitting here, a lot of people well dressed, producers, people who, like other YouTubers who brought their cameras with them, and they were interviewing each other, and and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, I almost needed to pinch myself. I'm like, am I really here? Like, is this really happening? Like, we were invited to fly out to DC and participate in this, life-changing event with the director who knows us as La Familia, and he's creating this series of telling the stories of Christ, and it's it's got millions of fans, and it's being seen around the world and everything. And I had a moment. It's like, I come from Compton. Like, good things weren't supposed to happen to me. I'm not supposed to be here. And I had a moment of self-doubt, and I felt sort of out of place a little bit, and I was sort of hesitant. And then Erika,
which is really weird. Not weird, like I'm calling you weird, but I'm saying, like, he felt out of place because of, he felt like because he's a kid who grew up from Compton, he doesn't deserve anything. I felt out of place because I didn't react to The Chosen. I was there as a +1. So I was like, they're just, it's Leonardo who's the one who really reacted to these and really got a reaction from it. Something deep happened to him when he watched this. So I was like, my anxiety was through the roof. Like I was holding it together because I saw that I internalizing. I knew what he was thinking without him saying anything. So I was like, all right, Erica, you have to get out of your anxiety right now because he's your partner and I love him. So I was like, just get out of here. He wants to approach them, talk to them, maybe get a picture, maybe talk to them, get a word in. I was like, I had to just shake off my jitters. And the first one was we saw Mary Magdalene. We saw her. Magdalene? Yeah. And I was like, I stopped her like politely. I said, because she was walking and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, can I just stop you? And I just want to let you know, like, you did great in the show. We love you on the show. You're amazing. And I told her about the scene that she did in season 2 that got me. And I was telling her that I really appreciated that. And I told her, yeah, my boyfriend actually does a reaction to The Chosen. And she was like, okay. And then I was like, can we get a picture with you? And we got, that was the first one. We got her. And he was like, I could see him. He was probably looking at me like,
I was like, what? Who is this?
Where'd it happen?
Right, because we switched roles for a minute, but I was fine up until then because I also got a chance to meet a guy named Daryl Eves, who is the producer of the show, but he's also like a YouTuber, and he has like a course on like how to create YouTube channels, and he actually, I don't know if you all know this YouTuber named Mr. Beast. He's like this kid who gives money away, and he's like really, really famous, really popular. He helps him, and he's helped millions of people. And so like I met him, and I was fine, like approaching him and saying, hey, I love your work, and thanks so much for everything you've done. Like you've changed the channel. And he was like kind of like
he turned like a little bit
red because I guess like he wasn't expecting all that. But before I had that moment, there was a couple who approached us, and she recognized me.
She recognized him, and she was like fangirling.
Yeah, and she was just like, she turned red, and she was like, I love your channel, and and her husband was like, sorry, and they're like, no, it's fine, and like, thank you so much, and so they were very encouraging. And after we were done talking to them, that's when it started, because it's like now I'm being recognized and being praised for being authentic, and I think that's the theme of the weekend, is like people just pointing out how like they appreciate the authenticity of the channel, and that we were open, to the music and to the stories and all that, and I reassured them I'm not gonna quit, but I had that moment where it's like I came from Compton and I was Catholic, and then I was an atheist, and here I am like enjoying these stories, and people telling me that the channel has changed their lives, and then thinking of like Jackie and and all that, and it's like who am I?
You're Leonardo Torres. That's who you are. So it was like it was different to see him so like not in his element.
I was in my head.
He was, and I knew it, but.
She came to the
rescue.
I was like, Erika, babe,
and then right after that, I saw baby Mary, and I went up to her, and we are like besties because she was so like sweet, and like I think she was really excited too that like somebody was just like wanting to take pictures with her, or like talk to her. So I was like, I did the same thing, and it was great.
Yeah, and she was really sweet too. She was polite. She was She was
I know
welcoming.
She had with like running to the bathroom, and she's like, I'll be back, I promise. I just have to go to the bathroom. And then we met older Mary.
Yeah, Mother Mary.
Sorry.
So they're both Mother Mary, right? But the young one and then the older one.
So same person,
and she was really nice to her.
Her husband was really sweet, nice too. I did the same thing with that, and we were trying our best to see Jonathan.
Yeah,
Jesus. There was just a lot of people that were waiting, and there were other people that were like kind of with him for a longer period of time. And I think his publicist or whoever was this young lady who was like, she was trying to grab him like, we gotta go. And again, we wanted to be really respectful. I didn't want to just be like, yo, like, or jump around people. Like somebody was making comments like, people are trying to jump Jesus right now. like,
give the guy a break.
Like, let them breathe a little bit. But overall, it was a great experience, like meeting people. We met another sweet lady who actually works at the Museum of the Bible.
Oh yeah.
Super nice. She did the same thing. She came over there and was really appreciative, his work and what he's doing. And she asked if there was anything that she could pray for us. And she mentioned something about, what did she say? About that you were thinking about already, but like new ideas, new.
She mentioned that she said that the Holy Spirit was telling her that something about fresh ideas.
There you go. Fresh ideas.
And that morning, and of course, throughout all these, since we did Sure Thing, that's all I've been doing is planning, and we've been working on my editing and storytelling, because we wanted we want to create something that's worthwhile, not just entertaining, but something that's meaningful, something that you can walk away with and say, wow, I didn't know the song had that much depth to it, or I didn't notice that the musicians are actually trying to mimic, this feeling or this sound, and for you to walk away with something, something special, something good, and that we're contributing to you all having a peaceful moment, or to help you spread love. That's really what it comes back to it. We circle back with the theme of the channel, which is spread love, and you all have been doing such a wonderful job at spreading love to us and to each other, and we love hearing your stories of your adventures and the things that you all are doing with your lives, and how the channel has affected you, because those two young ladies that approached us, actually it was three. The last one was really excited. She was just like,
oh my gosh. She kind of, at first she startled me, because she was like, it was like this. She was like, I know your face.
Yeah.
And she had like an accent. I think she was in the UK. Like, I think she was in the UK or something. She had an accent. And then Leonardo was like, okay. And then she's like, yes, I love you. And then was like, and then she learned to me. She goes, I love you guys. She was really excited. And there were some other YouTubers there too that did came up to you. You stopped one of them. I forgot their name, but they came up to you, and some of them they just came super like prepared. There was a girl with a microphone like going up to people. The other people were popping out the camera. We didn't know. We could have asked, but we didn't know then. I think again, it goes, we just wanted to like also I don't know, I'm not saying that it's disrespectful. We didn't want to just bombard. We just be considerate of that. They're trying to talk to everybody and mingle with everybody,
and we've never been invited to anything like this, so we didn't know what to expect, and I wasn't about to show up with my camera and without knowing,
and they had like a strict they were security check and walking through, so I think the less that we took also was like better, but overall, we're so grateful and blessed that we had this opportunity, and it wouldn't have been if Leonardo wouldn't have just started checking out the Christian show, The Chosen, or jumping out of his shell and doing what he wanted to do, and not second guessing yourself. You did second guess yourself, but you didn't go with that. Yeah. So good job.
Thanks. I just say I'm eating gummy bears, by the way. I love gummy bears. They're my favorite. So
you're gonna make people hungry. Once
I get the P.O. box, if you all want to send me gummy bears, shoot.
He likes like the ones that are a little more chewy. Like these are kind of hard.
Yeah, the soft ones.
Yeah, sorry, soft.
Yep. Any questions? Anything that comes to mind? Anything you want to talk about? As you're thinking about what you want to talk about, I just briefly wanted to touch on something, because the first lady that recognized us, excuse me. Okay, that's the last one I'll have, because I don't like to talk and chew. But they had originally asked, like, okay, so because they kept calling me like non-believer, like it was great to see like non-believer, and I said, like, okay, I'd like to correct you, and I did it in a polite way. I said, when I say non-Christian, I don't mean non-believer, right? Like I believe. When I say non-Christian, I only mean that I'm hesitant about the religious aspect of it, like, right, like all the practices, but that's really all that it is. And I had talked to Erika earlier that day about something, and it kind of came to us while we were exploring DC, because I just love nature, right? So it was great to see all these beautiful flowers, these beautiful trees with the beautiful colors, and then the architecture, and seeing the way that the sun was hitting the architecture, and it was like beautiful, because human beings created almost the architecture almost lends itself to photography, right? Like all the shadows, and how the light shapes the monuments, and shapes all of these beautiful buildings, right? And I couldn't help but notice that it was like a collaboration between the architect and God. Like God says, I'll provide the light, you provide the structure, right? And I'll make it look, beautiful. And I realized that one thing. I explained it to her, that to Christians, I'm non-Christian. Oh, okay, so I explained it to this, like I explained it like this to Matt Sabi. I'm like a bridge, like, right? Like I'm on a bridge, and on one side you have Christians, and the other side you have non-Christians. And I'm standing right in the middle of the bridge, and I'm asking everybody to meet me in the middle. And to Christians, I'm a non-Christian because I'm not on the Christian side per se, right? I'm not over that bridge on their side. And to the non-Christians, I'm a Christian because I'm not on their side either. I'm not fully on their side. And what I'm wanting to do is have everyone meet together in the middle and enjoy each other's company, and say, hey, I'll listen to your music, you listen to our music, and maybe we can enjoy each other's company. And that's a little bit of what I explained to this couple, is that it's not that I'm hesitant and I hate the religious aspect of it, or I don't want to join Christians, because when Christians see me, I want them to see the love of Christ. Like I want them to say, like, yeah, he may not come to church, he may not be, practice all these things with us, but when he speaks, when he interacts with other people, like you could see that he has the love of Christ in him, right? And I want also the non-Christians to see that same love of Christ, that they see not someone who's pushing them to move into religion, not someone who's trying to convert them, not someone who's pointing the finger at their sins or shining a spotlight into their sins, not someone who wants to condemn them or to cast judgment or to tell them that they're going to hell or to ask them to repent, but they just see this loving person who has the love of Christ in them, and that respects them and accepts them the way that they are. And then all on their own, hopefully explore the Christian world, right? I said something to that effect on Instagram when we were live at the hotel that night, that our job is to point and let the stories do the selling, let the stories do the talking. You're never going to force someone to change their mind. I remember this saying that goes, a mind change against its will is of its opinion still. You can't force a mind to change its opinion about something that it's fought all of its life. It has to ease its way in it. It has to almost be its own idea. Like the non-Christian mind has to say, okay, I'll check out the music, and it has to come from them. And all you need to do is just be there, be present for that moment. When that moment shows up, that you're the person they want to ask questions about God, and not someone else, that they feel comfortable with you because you built a relationship with them already, that they feel comfortable with you because when they told you that they messed up, that they lied, or that they stole, you didn't judge them. You didn't push them away or run away from them. Right. And so it's about building these relationships. We already know, you already say that being a Christian is not about religion. It's about having your relationship with Christ. And I'm asking you all to evaluate, how is it that you're relating to Christ? Because when you relate to other people, you're also relating to Christ. It may not be Christ exactly, but you're relating to him. If we're reminded that when you get to heaven, he's going to see that. How did you treat me when I showed up as your friend who told you that I stole? How did you treat me then? How did you treat me when I was hungry? How did you treat me when I asked if you can spare some change? How did you treat me when I needed your help, when my car was broken on the side of the road and you just drove by and didn't help? Like, seize that stuff. As doing it to one another is as if you were doing it to Christ. I know that. I know that. I don't believe that. I know that. And so, yeah, I just briefly wanted to touch on that, on just getting more clear on what I mean when I say non-Christian, right? So There's all that. There's all that stuff. So let us know. Let us know. Let me know how you all are feeling about all that. Decepticon software. Oh, soundware. Sorry. Let's see. Is that the first message that you're posting? And then moderators, please don't delete that. Okay. I wanna look at it and address it. Born of a Virgin, Isis birthday is celebrated December 25th. Eastern Star led 3 wise men to him. Taught in the temple as a child. Yeah, all of that stuff is has already been. We've heard stuff like that before. That the story of Horus is kind of like the story of Christ, or that the story of all these other gods are like the story of God. Decepticon, I would like to encourage you to check your sources, because I've heard lots of different things, right? And it's easy. I'm not sure where your background is, but it's easy to watch something like a documentary, and it points out all these things. And it's another thing to actually go and research it, because you don't want to just jump to the conclusion that is actually fact, because a lot of these things are, some match, some things don't, some things were added. And then also, if you talk to a Christian, and I really talk to a Christian, they'll tell you that nowhere in the Bible does it say that Christ was actually born on December 25th. So we're not exactly sure where all that comes from, and we're not wanting to touch all of that exactly. Can see where Christianity stole the myths from. I mean, those are big. That's a big accusation. Is it true? Who knows? Some things I've come across, because when I was an atheist, I came across some things like this, where it pointed out that there were similarities that they stole, or they borrowed, or they just covered up pagan traditions and adopted them to sort of shut out the pagan traditions. We don't know, man. Like nobody knows. If somebody says they know, check it. Nobody knows. Not even on the atheist side. The thing is that the thing that can be verified and that is true is just this. Okay, don't overcomplicate it with all these, they stole this, or what about ISIS and all this other stuff. Okay, because as an archetype, they all serve the same purpose, right? But when you look at the story of Jesus, one thing for sure is that he's a person that existed. He existed. This person really existed. And if you haven't already checked out Decepticon, if you haven't already checked out The Chosen, which is kind of what we're talking about here, is this gentleman named Dallas Jenkins. He created a series called The Chosen, which is a story of Christ, and he does it. It's almost like a Hollywood production. Okay, the story is really well told. He goes in depth, and he answers a lot of those questions. Really, not those specifically, but he answers some of the questions that I used to have doubts as an atheist, and made me feel a little bit more comfortable about hearing the story of Christ. So here's what I know for sure to be true. He's a person that existed. Okay, he's a person that existed, and he was a person that was misunderstood. He taught us to love one another and to respect one another. And he died. Okay, he was killed. He was put to death, right? And he rose. Okay, now you could say, well, there's no proof that he rose, whatever, and you might have your doubts, and that's completely fine. But I would suggest that you just look into it, right? But here's the thing. Let's just say that he didn't rise from the dead. Do you have a problem with his message of love? Do you have a problem with his message that we should love one another and respect one another, and that we should love others as we love ourselves? Because if you treat other people harshly, it's a reflection of how you're treating yourself. So asking yourself, like, well, how do I see myself? How do I love myself? Because if you're being, and I'm not saying you are, but if we're being, and I'm just basing this off of how I was when I was an atheist, I was angry, and I was angry at the world. I was angry at religion. I was angry at God, and I was a nasty, sarcastic, cynical, and rude person. And I would pick a fight with street preachers and tell them practically a lot of the stuff that you're saying, right? You say that his father is far from home. Okay. What we want to do here is look deeper. just look deeper, because a lot of the times as an atheist or as someone who doesn't believe, we're looking at the surface and we're looking at things like little stories that say that God put his wrath and destroyed a whole city, or that he asked someone to kill their firstborn and things like that. And so from an outside perspective, I could see how that seems like he's not about love. He's not, right? But some of the stories, and I'm not here to preach because I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm not educated in theology or anything like that, but I'm just speaking from my heart, and I'm telling you what I know to be true. Okay. A lot of those things are taken out of context, and a lot of those stories, some are to be taken literal and some are to be taken figuratively. I'm not here to tell you which ones are and which ones aren't, but I encourage you to discover that for yourself, to really discover that for yourself. But Decepticon, if I can have a conversation with you, I know it's hard, like through text, but I love having these conversations with people. I just have a question for you, just a very simple question. You're free to answer in the comment section, or if you want, you can send me an email. We could talk about it privately. But like, what is it about God that offends you? Or what is it about God that makes you uncomfortable or makes you upset or puts you in a bad place emotionally? Like, what is it that you're fighting, really? And if you can be as honest as you possibly can, I'd appreciate that. I'm not going to try to convert you. I'm not going to try to point you towards anything. I just really want to get down to the bottom of it, because behind some of these sort of like being hesitant about certain things, there are answers. I mean, I've gotten answers from people, and I've gotten answers in a polite way. And
maybe he hasn't. Maybe because he pointed out Christianity. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I mean, I'm gonna miss it because they keep typing.
No, go ahead.
He says, like, the way Christianity spread is far from love. What if he's met somebody? What if he's met a bunch of Christians that haven't shown him love? So maybe his anger really, and I'm just guessing too, maybe his anger isn't really with God. Maybe he can't see that there is love in God, because the people that are preaching about him or talking about him, maybe they aren't.
Yeah,
they aren't showing him love. So I'm not agreeing. I'm not there. There's a reason, and there's everyone has a story, and at the end of the day, you had people that you got kicked out of church. It wasn't a Christian church, but you got kicked out of a church.
Right.
Like, we don't know his story yet, and we don't know if this person maybe did have a belief of some sort, and he met people that weren't loving and kind. Because as much as this hurts me to say, there are Christians, Catholics, religious people, believers, followers who aren't as loving and kind and respectful, and they are hurtful and have pushed people to a point where they question if God is love, because of the people that are spreading his word.
Right.
And that could be a bit frustrating for some people.
Right. Decepticon, first of all, thank you for being here. Really, thank you, because this comment right here that you just posted is something that I'm struggling with myself, and this is my opportunity to be honest with the people watching here today. We're gonna get honest, okay? But I want to address this first. I didn't mean to point out that you're angry, okay? I don't know if you're angry or not. My question is, what is your hesitancy? What is it about Christianity that makes you reject it or object to it? That's all. I'm not saying you're angry. I'm sorry if I came across that way. I'm not saying that at all. But here's something that I do want to talk about, okay? Because I did one of those, those DNA testing things or whatever that tells you what your background is, and it came back that, and I sort of knew this already through my father's side, that I'm half native. Okay, I got half native blood. Okay, and part of the thing that I'm having a difficult time dealing with, Decepticon, here, is reconciling. I think that's it. I don't know. My brain is hungry right now, but merging together this feeling of the experiences that I've had, spiritual experiences that I've had with God. Okay, I'm not even going to call it Jesus or anything. Let's just extract that. Okay, just God. Okay, these beautiful experiences that I've had, And then also hearing the stories, and now having all the answers that I've gotten about Christianity, and stepping into that world just to observe it, to interact with the people, to see what it's about. And I've met some wonderful, wonderful people, okay, on here. Now, I know what the Christian world did to the natives. Okay, I know that they called them savages. I know that they were murdered. I know that their temples were destroyed. I know that their sacred grounds were destroyed, and that Christian temples were created in their place. I know that they changed their name. I know that they were not allowed to speak their native tongue. Anyone caught speaking their native tongue was put to death. I know that anyone who was still worshiping their old gods was also put to death. I know that they were stripped from their names and their identity, and I know that also that they were given Christian names, right? So things like my name, my name is Italian, Leonardo, but Torres and Garcia and all these other last names, these are Spanish last names, names from Spain, and they brought Catholicism to Mexico, and they brought Christianity to the North Americas. That's true. All of that is true, and I'm having a hard time fully immersing myself in Christianity because of what was done to my people. Now, having said all that, I have a responsibility to my ancestors to be authentic and be true to what I believe, right? And I have a responsibility to God to be able to separate what man has done and what God does. You see, because a lot of men have killed in the name of God. And that doesn't mean that God is the one behind it. You have to learn to separate the two. That sometimes men say God has sent me, and it's not true. So my suggestion, or my suggestion to you is to begin to separate it. Unless you really are like, nah, I don't even want to, that's fine. That's completely up to you. I'm not here to tell you that if you don't repent, you're going to go to hell and all that stuff. Like, I'm not here for that. Okay. What I'm here to do is to bring people like together. Right. Do I want verses? I'm not sure if you're talking to me or talking to everyone, but like, this is not going to be a place for arguing. Okay. But we can definitely talk about it separately. But I've learned that it wasn't God who came and destroyed my people, right? It was people who came and destroyed my people, and they all had a mission to take back gold, to actually to discover new worlds, right? And then to claim that world on behalf of Spain, or on behalf of England, or on behalf of France, right? They just wanted, that's what they did, right? And they enslaved a lot of people, and there was terrible things that were done, right? Now, I have a choice to either be really angry at that and to fight against the majority, basically, because everywhere you go, it's Christian, right? We call it a Christian nation. We have Christian morals. Our legal system is sort of created around that, right? We give the oath on the Bible and things like that, right? But I have to choose. Either I'm angry and I fight it, or I give in to love and I understand it. And we're never going to get anywhere unless we learn to understand it. And by understanding the other, I learn to understand myself. It's easy to pick out scripture and to say this is ugly, because the truth is there are some ugly things in the Bible. There are some things that offend you. There are some things that are very uncomfortable, things of death, of slavery, of bringing women down, right? That speak against human beings, things that you as a human being might say, why would God even do that? Why would God even say something like that, right? But I suggest you you begin by dividing the difference between human beings, religion, and God himself directly. And unless you are open to letting go of whatever bad experience you might have had, of how someone who was religious, who might have hurt you or said something or abandoned you or did anything to harm you, like, on their behalf, I'm really sorry. I'm not claiming to know what's in your life. I hope I'm not coming across as condescending, okay? But in most cases, that's what it is. I saw that in all of my friends who we were all atheists, you know, and I myself was an atheist. I was angry because the priest, who is a human being, threatened to kick me out of church. He didn't actually kick me out, but he threatened to kick me out. And for me at that time, it was enough, because I knew where my relationship was with God, and this priest threatened my relationship with God. And I wasn't going to trade what I knew to be true with God for what somebody else believes to be true for me with God. Does that connect? Does that make sense? We're not really wanting to argue on here or to make you feel uncomfortable. We know that you have your reservations about Christianity, but if you're really serious, like if you want answers to any of these questions, feel free to contact any one of us, and we'll be more than happy to. There's a gentleman here. His name is MJ Sabi. He's great at answering these. Honestly, I feel really comfortable talking to him about it, about certain things. With regards to like the Bible, and you'll find that here it's okay to ask those questions. Nobody's going to judge you for it. Nobody's going to turn you away or make you feel uncomfortable. All that I ask from you is like, look, we will respond with love. All that I ask of you is that you be respectful, and that you respond in the same way. You know, and that's it. You will be treated with kindness no matter what. So here you say, I also have a personal relationship with reality. All right, you guys have fun. Okay, look, check this out. So before you leave, I know you're saying you're gonna leave, but check this out. What is reality? When you say you have a relationship with reality, do you realize my grandfather used to tell me this all the time? Every head is its own world. Every mind is its own world. You're making maps, internal maps of the external world, and you're seeing life, you know, one way, a very specific way, and you're filtering as you go along through life. You start adopting ideas and beliefs, and everything that you experience, you filter through those ideas and those beliefs, and you call that reality. But that's just your reality. And what I find is that everyone else has a separate reality, because they all filter the exact same world through their own individual ideas and beliefs. So when you say that you have a personal relationship with reality, you have a personal relationship with reality. Yes, that is true. But what about actuality? The thing that is separate, the thing that is happening outside of your reality, my reality, her reality, everyone else's reality. There's something that's called actuality. It's happening. It's actually something that's taking place, something that can be named or identified, or that you can't extract and say, this means this. It has no meaning in and of itself. You attach the meaning to it. So you've already attached meaning to God as something negative, while other people who have had positive experiences with God have attached a positive meaning to it. You both have two different realities, but there is one actuality. There's but one. It's like when I say my life, there's no such thing as my life. I didn't create this life. This life was created, whether you believe that nature created it, or that it was created by something higher, something sacred and something divine. Either way, it's not my life. This is not her life. There is but one life, and that's the life of God. It flows through each and every one of us. And the thing is that you see it separately. You see, that's it. I don't even know if you're still on here. It seemed like you were just getting in a rush to get away, but that's it. It's that's just it. We have a personal relationship with reality. That is true, but your reality is different from our reality. That's all. Anyway, I wasn't expecting to get into all of this here, but we appreciate your patience, familia, and we appreciate that you all respond with love, no matter what. Please. Erika and I were talking about this last night. Like, it all circles back to one thing, right? Mm-hmm. What's that?
What? I don't know. Love?
Love.
I say I don't know, because we talk about a lot of things. So I don't know. I wasn't too sure if that was the first one. But yes, it all circles back to love. I don't know. I have a soft spot for some people who are so. I'm not. I know he says he wasn't angry, but I was really quiet. I was processing everything because I'm thinking there was a point in my life where I was angry. I was mad. I never not believed in God. I did. I did have questions a lot. Still do sometimes when things go wrong. I'm not saying it's God's doing, but we say that God's in everything. God's sends us people, things, things happen for a reason. God, it's God's plan, God's will. And there's a lot of times that I do till now sometimes say, well, not that God doesn't love me, but or anything, or love you, or love any or the next person, or that he doesn't exist in any way. That's not where I'm coming from. It's just sometimes I had to like take a step back to analyze why certain things do happen. If it's not God's doing, whose doing is it? Because if God is in everything and God does the good and the blessings, then who does the things that sometimes happen that are unfortunate? I did that a lot when I was in my abusive relationship. I would always ask why would, because he didn't call himself an atheist, but he was very condescending and very rude when it came to, he's like, oh, well, where's your God now to protect you? Where's your God? He's not here. He's not here to save you. So why do you even believe in what you believe in for? If he's in everything, if he's in the good, why is he in here with the bad? Like, he was like proud that he was the way that he was with me. And then he threw in the, well, where is he now? And I'm human and I had no other thing to say, but then to think like, oh my gosh, is he right? God brought, like, who brought this man into my life who was this horrible, who was abusive mentally, physically, emotionally? Like, who brought him into my life then? I mean, I know that I was part of that, but if it's all coming from up above, then at the time I was angry a little bit with God because I did what I was supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that was to love somebody even when somebody was that horrible to me. I was loving. I was only loving, and I wasn't pushing my relationship with Christ and this person, even though I wanted him to see my side or just have that conversation. It didn't happen. And so I just have a little bit of a softer spot when it comes to people who are seeing that.
Yeah. And that's the way that it should be.
And
when we think about it, everything that God created was created with love, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right. And not just that, it says, so he created he so loved the world that he, not only that, but he actually made it so that his son would come down to our level. He came down to our level and experienced the world as one of us, right? Which makes it that much more special. But then he died a horrible death, right? Mm-hmm. And if everything is made from love, when someone comes across this way and says like, oh, good luck with your fairy tales, it's because one thing is lacking in their life, and that's what? Love. And then responding to anger with anger is not going to get you all anywhere, familia, right?
Yeah, it's not going to get you anywhere far, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe feel good in the moment because you're releasing whatever you're feeling, but it doesn't get you anywhere. You're still in the same place, right? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
You have a softer spot for that.
Yeah, and I have questions because I've also had people in my life, about my cousin, and I'm not going to get into much detail about that, but he wasn't treated very well, and he had to hide who he felt he was. He had to hide a part of him because of how he was treated. Mm-hmm. And the result of that, he's no longer with us. And it's devastating because we talk about people spreading love and we talk about doing, and sometimes there are the people that, I don't want to sound rude, but some people disguise themselves as people who spread love and cover it up. This is going to be hard for me to say, but cover it up with Christ. And I feel like they hide behind that as like a shield to say that they're doing God's work. They're spreading God's word. And I feel like a lot of people who are angry or upset, or sometimes it's the people's doing sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like right now with what happened when he's like, he has a personal relationship with reality. I just wanted to point out that there is the world, the universe,
Archie's calling. I don't know if you guys heard the little plate. He's calling.
He slaps the plate to let us know he's hungry. There's the world and the universe that God created, and then there's the world that man has created, right? And then there's a you that God created, and then there's a you that the world has created. You know, your name, your background, your religion, your ideas, your concepts, all of that. I would call that second one your false self, or your false identity. And your true identity is who you are in God, right? Just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Who you are in God. When God sees you, he recognizes that, not the other stuff, not your antics and your personality and your likes and dislikes and ideas and beliefs. He doesn't care about any of that. When he sees you, which is why he can love you, even when you hurt him, even when you walk away from him, even when you curse him. He still sees that. He looks beyond that false self. And I always encourage people, if they're willing to go deep into this conversation, I always encourage people to figure out who you are, who you really are, behind who you think you are.
Yeah.
Behind who you think you are. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that people have to sort of mask themselves or hide themselves or pretend to be something that they're not, because if they were to be out with who God made them, or who they think they are, who they are on a deeper level, they're going to be condemned, they're going to be hurt, and so they mask it. It's unfortunate. Like you had to sort of walk away from God, because if you didn't, your ex would have been really, really upset about that, no? Or he would have at least put you down or make you feel.
Well, yeah, I didn't even have conversations about it, because it was so, I was made fun of, and and then I was angry with the things that were happening to my life. And I blamed God for that, because all I did was love. And I think that was my mistake, thinking that that's what I needed to be rewarded, like, for doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to love. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'm not saying that's why this person was the way. That person didn't know love. And I tried my best to show him love, and not do it pressuring him to do it through Christ or anything. Like, I wasn't pushing that down his throat. I was just working Christ through me, like, to spread love. And it didn't work. It didn't. And I don't know, I was just really in a bad place. And then other people have hurt me too, like in the Christianity world, that it makes me hard to really trust what they're telling me is sometimes genuine. And that's not really my fault completely for having like that guard up with people of like, are they trying to push me or force me, or is it genuine? Is it not genuine? Like, it's hard. It's challenging. It gets tricky sometimes.
It does. And I'm sorry, because I've come across some people like that too. And it's really challenging to handle. I usually turn to just being quiet, because I know that if I respond with the embarrassment or with the hurt, it's going to turn ugly.
Usually why I'm really quiet when it gets to like heavy topics like this, because there's certain things that I want to address, certain things that I want to comment on. And I want to be very careful how I word myself too, though, because I don't ever want to offend anybody. I don't want to ever come off like I'm being condescending or that I'm being rude in any way. It's hard for me to really discuss these things. I usually discuss them with Leonardo only. Typically, he knows like my everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to like open up.
This is why I've said before that I'm not interested in converting. I'm interested in transforming. Like, I want a huge transformation. I think, in my opinion, sometimes some people get overly excited when they come to Christ for the very first time, and they want to go run and tell everybody about it, but they're not prepared with the tools. They're not equipped with the tools yet to be able to talk about it. I think they need to give it some time to really let all of that sink in, to let that sort of like those initial feelings, because sometimes yes, you have a beautiful experience, like a religious experience or a spiritual experience, but then a lot of the times too, it's your body releases a lot of chemicals and you feel like you're ready to take on the world, and then you aren't ready for that person who pushes back, and then you step out of your spiritual self and you go into your mental self, and then you start offending the person and telling them they're going to go to hell, and you use sarcasm and all these other things, right? So I think there should be a transformation, not just a simple conversion over to Christ, because then people say the wrong thing and end up doing more damage than they do good.
Yeah, it should never be forced, or you shouldn't never pressure somebody into doing it, and just accept them as they are in their journey. Just accept them as they are. And there are some people like, this person, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but this person, seemed kind of angry and upset. I'm not, like I said, we're not trying to assume, but they were trying to prove up their point to a certain degree. And I think that's when we need to, as us people together, come together and not be pushy, let's just try our best to show that we can also be understanding and have an open ear and be open-minded to hearing what they have to say without getting defensive or without getting into attack mode or being hurtful back, because then that's when the cycle doesn't end. The cycle will continue. And what happened?
No, go ahead.
That's when the cycle continues, and then for us to not have that cycle to continue, let's do the opposite. And let's love it, not in a condescending way, loving, like being sarcastic. Okay,
I'm gonna love you.
We love you. We're gonna love you the same way. Like Jesus loves you. Like, I don't think that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that. That's gonna upset them more. I think just really loving them without actually having to say that you love them, letting them know that you're there. We hear you. We understand, in that way. And I think that we'd have a better chance at really having that person come back down from wherever they're at and meet us. We can all meet in a middle to educate ourselves, in a sense, and learn from each other and grow from each other. And that's love. I think, in my opinion, that's where the true love comes from, which really just hearing somebody out. I think sometimes that's usually what they want. They want to be heard too. They see everybody else letting, they see Christians being able to speak their mind and say what they want. And they're like, well, why do they get to? It's because they're just Christian. So because I'm not, I can't speak what I feel. And I just think that once we meet in that, I think we're already making a difference right there. And it is love.
Yeah. You make an excellent point, because if I would have engaged him with the same attitude that he or she engaged me with, we'd still be arguing here.
Yeah.
Right. But because I said, wait a minute, let's put everything aside. Meet me here. Like, what's going on? What's happened to you in your life that makes you this way? And he's like, all right, I'm out of here. Enjoy your fantasy world, because he's not ready to face that. He's a fairy tale. Like, he's not ready to. People like that aren't ready to face that. They're not ready to be met with love. They're like, wait a minute, like, I'm gonna go find another YouTuber that I can say the same thing, and then engage some people in an argument until I get booted. And guess what?
And they're going to use that.
And they're going to use that. Guess what? I was in this Christian site. I spoke my mind, and they kicked me out because they don't want to hear the truth.
Which is why I think that it's best when we do see comments like that, or at least on this channel, I think what we continue to say is just to continue to love and show people love and respect everybody. Obviously, if there's like a line that's drawn where they're like being like offensive and directly calling somebody a name, then of course we don't want that here. But if someone has an opinion about where they stand, I think it should still be welcomed and be shown with love always. And here he can't say that he got booted out. He left on his own will. Like, we didn't delete his messages or their messages. It was done, professionally and with love. So
we're trying to show them that we're different.
Yeah, and that this is a place where you can come here if you don't have the same beliefs or think in the same way, or you're on the complete opposite end of where our thinking is. Exactly. Everyone's welcome here. It doesn't matter, just as long as you love and respect one another. That's all.
Right. And circling back to the chosen, right? This is why this is why I like that thing that said Mary Magdalene had said, all I know is that I was one way and now I'm different, right? And what happened in between was him. And this is our opportunity to show people that that things are different. What's so different about you? And it's like, well, what's different is that, well, this person does follow Christ. This person does follow Christ, and it shows, because when I came aggressively, they responded with love. there was something different. He didn't respond like all the other Christians do. He didn't respond with sarcasm or tell me that I was going to hell or anything like that. Anything like that at all. So
yeah, that's like like I've seen that happen a lot, and I don't think that's like I don't think anyone. I'm not trying to tell people how to talk or anything. I just think that when people take that approach, like, oh, you're going to, I don't even like to say it, but you're going to HE double hockey sticks. I don't like saying it, and like that's not a good response at all. Like, even if the Bible says certain things, like I don't think that us telling people that it's not going to make them want to come and learn or hear or educate themselves, because it's going to push them the other way. And and we don't want that. I mean, we want them to come on their own, but also not scare them into it either, because that's not a healthy way to do it. Scaring people into you're going to that place or HE double hockey sticks, like I wouldn't advise that. I've seen it happen, and it doesn't turn out well.
Yep. So Southern Sass.
Southern Sass. Are you reading it or am I reading it?
Go for it.
Okay. Exactly, Erica. Listen so that they can explain their feelings. They're responding from a place of hurt. But if they feel heard, then we set the example of Jesus love all of us.
Yeah. When I was an atheist, right, I was pushing back and going, your God is so dumb. Like, that ISIS also and Horus was pretty much exactly the same thing. If somebody would have stopped me and said, hey, can I ask you a question? Yes. What was it that makes you so angry at God? And I was like, well, because it's just not true. No. So what happened? Like, tell me what happened in your life that made you feel this way towards God. And if I had the chance to tell them, I think I would have gotten out of my atheist phase a lot sooner.
Probably.
A lot sooner. Because really what I wanted to tell people versus like, instead of telling them that they were dumb for believing in God, what I really wanted to tell them was, hey, I used to believe just the way that you believe, and someone robbed me from that beautiful experience because I believed slightly differently than they did. And they didn't show me love. They showed me a cold shoulder. They threatened to kick me out. They weren't listening to my questions. They misread my questions. They thought that I was rebelling against God when I wasn't. And that pushed me to actually rebel against God when all I had was a very simple question that required love and patience and understanding.
Well, yeah.
That's it. That's literally all I wanted.
So you just feel like you're being like ignored, or you're being like you're not important enough, or like what you have to say. Not that it doesn't matter, but in some way, like there's something deeper than it just being like, oh, I don't believe in God, and you guys are all dumb for believing in God. There's a root, and getting to that root and actually allowing that person to express it. Yeah, in the beginning they're gonna be angry and they're gonna be this and this, but that's when we have to be patient, loving. And just hear what they have to say, because then their demeanor changes when you give them the opposite reaction than what they're normally used to, and then what they're usually used to is the same energy, and you can't match that. You have to, like I said, be patient, dial it down, and control, and be like, you know what? I understand this person's hurt. This person is really hurt and feeling something must have happened for them to be this angry and this upset and this strong about what they feel. So
if I can explain it slightly differently, I'm going to say it like this. When I was a kid, I was very much aware of myself, of me. I was aware of my emotions. I was aware of my thoughts. I was a quiet observer of things. So I noticed things like little expressions in my mom's face when she wasn't having a good day. I learned to be super hypersensitive to my stepdad's attitude, because he could be happy one minute and then really angry the next. And so I had to sort of develop this slight sensitivity to shifting moods, right? And being able to understand why a person feels a certain way or thinks a certain way or behaves in a certain way, so that I know how to interact with that person in a way that's going to get me out of danger, right? So it was a survival thing for me. Growing up in Compton, you run into a lot of people that were not nice. I mean, they bullied people calling me Leonardo, right? And so I used my humor to sort of wiggle my way out of these things, because I noticed that what the bully really wanted was to put me down. And if I put myself down more than he did, I stole the fun from him, and then he would just leave me alone. Mm-hmm. So I learned tiny little things like that, right? So I've always been aware of who I am. And I know when I'm interacting with the world from my mind. I know when I'm interacting with the world from my emotions. I know when I'm interacting with the world from my flesh. And I know when I'm interacting with the world from my spirit, right? And it's taken a lot of work with meditation. And I used to do yoga. And I know some of you feel weird about yoga or you don't like yoga, but please just hear me out, okay? Even if you feel like yoga is demonic or it invites people, it invites demons and all that. I know that, not that I know that to be true. I know that you believe that, or I know that some of you, that's what you think, but I'm asking you to set aside your ideas of that and just listen. When someone is responding to you emotionally, it is not a good idea to respond to them from your emotions, because you're gonna clash. You're gonna clash. Emotions are hard, and so are theirs. So if they hit you with emotions, your emotions are gonna crash. You cannot meet them if they're mental and they're just mad and trying to offend you. You offending them with words too, hitting them with thoughts. Thoughts are very strong as well. These thoughts will crash. You will butt heads and you will crash. And if someone is coming at you physically, if you respond to them physically, you're gonna clash. Obviously, physical is hard. It's and you're gonna clash. But the spirit is fluid. The spirit is untouched. There is literally, I was talking to her about this last time. There's no weapon against the spirit. Mm-hmm. There's one that can hurt your mind. There's one that can hurt your emotions. There are weapons that can hurt your body physically, but there's literally no weapon that can harm your spirit. We don't have those kinds of weapons, right? That I can hurt her spirit, right? Okay, so I haven't said that. When someone meets me emotionally, I meet them spiritually, because when they throw an emotional punch at me, it goes through me. When someone wants to use words to offend me and call me Leonardo, they want me to feel hurt emotionally, but also be disturbed mentally. And I meet them with spirit, it goes right through me. Obviously, if they punch me, it's going to hurt me, right? But spiritually speaking, I'm able to talk my way out. I'm able to use my resources, like my emotions, to stay calm, my mind to be clear, and be able to talk my way out of fights, which I've done dozens of times growing up. So meet them in spirit. Like this gentleman, like he wanted to engage us, or I don't know if it's gentleman's, I'm assuming, but like this person wanted to engage us in a sort of like a mental, right? In a mental battle. What about Horace? And giving us facts. He said, I'm not angry. He denied that he's angry. He cut off the emotion. He said, I'm just telling you facts. And what did I do? I apologized. I said, you know what? I'm sorry if I came across and said that you were angry. I don't know if you're angry or not. I didn't mean to, but I just really want to know where you're coming from. Love, And so that's all I wanted to point out, is like, know where you are. Learn to shift your positions from your mental, from your anger or emotional, to your spirit, which is always calm. Be still and know I am God. That's where you meet. That's where you meet. All right, go ahead.
No, you can read it and then read the second one after. It goes together, but I can't put both.
Okay, so hey Leonardo, I've been raised as a Christian my whole life. I'm in my early 20s, and I went through some really low points last year, especially and specifically. And while there's a lot I could say, I just want to let you know that watching a specific reaction by you really touched me and helped me get out of it. Oh, Josh, that's great. Would you mind sharing a little bit more in detail, like what it was, which video it was and how it helped? I don't know. I don't want you to get personal if it's too personal, but also, if you do want to talk to me or let me know privately, completely feel free to send us an email. My email is on here. If not, I'll see if I can find it. If not, leave your comment below.
In the comment section down below.
Actually, find me on Instagram if you can't find my email. Find me on Instagram. Send me a message, and then I'll let you know. I'll give you my email. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Except the flesh is in sin by nature, so we must follow the spirit. Yeah. Okay. All right. When I hear words like this, when I hear phrases like this, spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. True. Okay. But when I hear things like this, except the flesh is in sin by nature, so we must follow the spirit. My question doesn't go. My attention doesn't go to spirit or flesh or nature. My attention goes to we. Like, who are you? Are you the spirit? Are you the soul or the spirit that's following? Like, you're following what? What is it that you're following? Because if you shift your attention, just like I said, if you shift your awareness to your flesh, then sure, you can follow the spirit, but you're still going to be in flesh. You're still going to be in your sin is going to be, your nature is going to be sin. But if you shift that idea and you live in spirit, then what are you following? You follow?
Do you follow?
You follow? Watching your Soul Alive video the first day it came out, my brother, my niece, and myself prayed for you after I showed them. Thank you. I stayed off the internet for a while, political things going crazy, and come back, and here you are. No, thanks. I'm really glad you're back. God is good. Yes. Amen. Yes. Think about how you can grow someone's spirituality, be it Hindu, Buddhism, and Baptism. Baptist. Okay. I'm not sure if I missed anything else here.
No, I think so.
But I am one of those folks who believe yoga practices sin because it's relation to Hinduism. But I understand that Leonardo is not where I am at, and he may not be yet. Okay. I don't know how you know things about the world. I know that I've seen videos where I've heard pastors say to people, I went to this dentist. There was one pastor who was like, I went to this dentist, and he had Buddhas everywhere, and he had nice music, and he was stepping into like mocking the dentist, right? That's not Christian, right? I mean, I would look at that and I'd be like, that's not Christ-like, right? And then he was teaching his people or his congregation that the silliness of the Buddha and how dumb it is and all that stuff. And so the people receiving that information, that's where they're getting their information from a Christian who's never heard anything Buddhist, who's never been a Hindu, who knows nothing about yoga, who knows nothing about meditation. They're just teaching you that. So I'm not sure if that's where you are. Okay. But I was really quickly just want to touch on that. Yoga, it means to unite. And the purpose of that practice is to bring your physical, your mental, your emotion, and your spiritual parts of you to work together. That's it. That's all it. You hear all these other people who have had like these experiences, Kundalini this, and that they were able to astral travel. I question all of that stuff. Because a lot of that stuff is monetized. They turn it into, if you hang out with me or if you buy this course, you'll be able to travel through the astral plane and do this and that and the other. Or if you twist into a pretzel, you'll be able to activate your chakras and all that stuff. I question all that stuff because none of that stuff can be verified. But if you look to the true practitioner, they're not even doing it for physical, like for strength building. It's just to bring into alignment the discomfort of being uncomfortable physically, and then the discomfort that the physical body brings, how it makes you uncomfortable mentally, and then how grumpy you get because you're uncomfortable physically and mentally, and now you're emotional as well, and then spiritually you're disturbed because your other bodies are working against you, your other body's parts, your other whatever you want to call it. So what they're doing is that they twist in an uncomfortable position, and they force their mind to be okay, and they force their emotions to be okay, and they do all of that through their breathing. They also believe that the breath of life is very sacred, and that every breath is a gift. right? And so they do that as a practice. So that's all I'll say about that. But all I know is that it's made it had helped me in a time that I was struggling with a lot of stuff, and it calmed me and it brought me a lot of peace, and it made me physically comfortable, which I need to get back in. It's just stretching. It's just basically it. So it's just like, for example, let's just say that a Hindu is watching Christian churches, and particularly like say Baptists, and they see that a priest is swinging his coat around hitting people, and then they go like this, and then they shake, and they're caught by someone, and then they're speaking in tongues, and then a Hindu says, I don't know about going to church because it looks demonic to me. See, it's the same thing. Like, you're looking at it from a different perspective. So it's not okay to say that something's demonic when you don't know if something is demonic or if it's a sin. So I'm just saying that I'm not here to sell you yoga. Okay. I'm not an instructor or anything like that, but that's all. Anyway. Okay. So, I will, we'll just leave it at that. We're going to go have dinner now, but we thank you so much for your time.
Yes. Thank you so much. Sorry. I'm in hang. I only had a piece of toast today with,
oh no.
And it's 7:00 here. And that was, so my stomach is like growling, and it's one of those growls where it's like angry growling. It's like, you have not fed me today. And I had coffee.
Is
so
it just like Archie, where it's banging your stomach?
It's like, it's like a burn kind of a growl. And I'm like, all right, that's not probably good.
All right. We're going to go and have
hungry.
dinner.
Yeah.
But before I leave, I just want to leave you with this last thing. And it'll be short. No, for real. Because this thing was like non-believer, and then the side of the believer, and yelling at each other, and says like, your beliefs are dumb, and then you're like, no, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they're. What I'm asking you people, all of us, to do is to say, hey, meet me in the middle of the bridge. I'm gonna step away from me and meet you in the middle, and let's have a conversation. That's it.
Wow, that was short.
Yeah,
I wasn't doubting you. It just, I know Leon. We all know him, and so I was expecting for it to go on. I was like, it's okay. But yes, thank you for coming on here and letting us, tell you guys about our trip, about that you guys should go. If you can watch The Chosen. It's amazing. You won't be disappointed. It's Dallas. They did it. They all did amazing. Dallas did amazing. All of the people in it did amazing. They're just amazing. You guys see it.
It's okay that you want to see it on your phone, or if you want to wait or whatnot. But if you really have to hear the music in the theater, it's just something else. Like being in the concert. It's like being there.
And it's a different feeling. The emotion is just, like I said, a lot deeper. It comes with like, whew, it's very powerful. So it
really is. All right. Thank you all so much. And I guess up next, we have another story.
We got to start thinking about for the Grinch.
Oh,
it's December already.
Oh, it's December already. That's right.
So
okay.
That'll be our next project. We got to talk about that today.
Okay. So there are going to be some Grinch reactions. And then also I want you now in the live chat to help me out. Which video essay do you want to see? So Will I or Oceans? Which one first? The one that gets the most comments will win.
Those are so hard to pick. I was gonna like whisper one, but I don't even know what to say because Oceans got you started. So I feel like that's a really good one because it was your first video ever for your journey where you're at now. And then So Will I was just freaking amazing. So it's like it's hard. So I'm not even gonna give my input. Y'all have to
yeah, and
too much pressure.
And we hope that you're enjoying these video essays because we're enjoying them, making them.
I think One World wants Oceans. I'm not too sure. It's not clear for me yet, but I think One World, I think we already know his.
All right. We got your vote as Oceans. So Will I. I think Oceans is coming up a little bit.
Okay, we'll leave them in. Are you going to do a poll? Or are you gonna...
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do a poll.
But I want to see what everybody here thinks. But I'm going to post it shortly in a poll and then have you all vote on it so that I can start doing my research, listening to the song over and over again, follow it and listen to the bass, listen to the guitars, listen to the lyrics, listen to what the music is doing, and then share our input, and then a little story behind it. If it's going to be Oceans, I'm going to definitely share the story of how it all got started with Erika listening to it in the background and getting.
So I get to say something
and follow the music and all that.
David, don't say anything, but hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Should people go see it in theaters? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
I do that to Luna, and she goes, "You said yes both times. You didn't give me an option." I'm like, yeah, because I want you to say yes. Let's all please pray for Mary Leanne. Also, I wanted to ask you all, please pray for our good friend Eric Bjorklund, who will be traveling to Africa slightly on an emergency. Someone he has to go out there and see and help. But please pray for his safe travel. He said that sometimes travel to Africa can be a little hairy. So we want to pray for his safe journey and safe return. Pray for Mary. And if there's anyone on our way out, if there's anyone else that you all would love to pray for, please mention them in the comment in the live chat. And I'll ask is that everybody else, as you're reading those names, please offer a prayer. All right. Excellent. All right, cool. All right, familia. So thank you all so much for joining us. We hope to see you very, very soon. We'll see you on our next adventure. Peace and love.